Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have David C. Olcott, CEO of Samurai Success Inc., a worldwide coaching company based in the US, best-selling author of Swords of Illumination. Welcome to the show, David.
AJ, thank you so much for having me. I was so looking forward to this all week long, man.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show, David. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to learn from you, from what we are going to talk with you. We'll learn from you about the samurai way to business mastery. But before that, let's understand a bit more for the audience about you, about your background, about your journey, so that they understand a little bit more from you about all these things.
So my path to getting samurai success was such a varied pathway. When I was younger, had a really clear plan about where I wanted to go, and all my friends said, "We're going to the university. We're going to become doctors. We're going to be lawyers. We're going to do all these things." They had great plans, and I wasn't so clear about that. So I really went on a journey of self-discovery. And growing up in Florida, and then moving out to Colorado, where I'm at now, and then traveling around the country. I used to work for a guy named Tony Robbins, traveled all around the country. And I really met some extraordinary people, some very wealthy people, some very poor people. And I really wanted to discover what the differences were between people. And that put me on the pathway of being able to find out and discover the strategies that we now use here at Samurai Success.
Absolutely, absolutely, David. And that is where we learn from you the samurai way to business mastery. What is business mastery in today's time? Is it about money? You talk about not money, but something else. So I want to understand that is why, for the audience, what is business mastery in today's time?
From our viewpoint, our perspective, when we started really studying the most successful people on the planet, we realized there were some common themes that happened within these groups, some strategies, some behaviors, some belief systems that went along with that. And we're curious about how do those things all fit together? And what really, from our perspective, it really comes down to three things: people, profits, and processes. And in that algorithm that we have at Samurai Success, those three elements really create this business mastery. First of all, it's about you as the owner of your business. You are the energetic and driving force of your entire business. You are the nuclear energy plant. And that's why we always start with you first. The CEO has to attend our coaching sessions, be part of this coaching session, because what we call programming is your subconscious way of looking and behaving in the world. That programming is the energy source that expands your business or limits your business. That's why we start there first. Process development is part of the way you do things. So the way you think about things, mindset, and then skill set really is about how you do things. And those doing things is about process development. And if you truly want to be able to become a business owner, which means you can take 3 months at a time off from your business and not have it affect quality control or profitability, truly becoming a business owner means you have to transfer what's in your brain or your mind to other people in as much as the same way as possible. Because if you're not going to be there doing the work, then you have to have a process that you can transfer to somebody else so they can do the work at the same quality control and profitability as if you were doing the work. So that process. And then finally with us, it's about profits, about measuring that through very clear metrics about how well that programming aspect is doing, that process work is doing, and then the results you're getting from that. And then you can predict and forecast into the future. That's what we call business mastery.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what about destiny, business and destiny? Can they be together? Is it that business owners think that profit is their destiny and later on realize that purpose should have been their destiny, and that is where they walk the wrong path? So that is where your Swords of Illumination, your book comes in. I'll come to that book separately, but I want to understand, how do business owners look at business and also look at destiny at the same time? Both are same things or different things, especially for business owners, young business owners who are looking at business in their life.
Really, to get to understand something, AJ, we as humans, our brains are limited, so we have to separate things, right? We have to be able to say, hey, this we need to focus on, and then this we can focus on, and then when we have an understanding of both those things, we can then connect them. So at the end of the day, the real answer to your question, it's this and this. So it is destiny and profit. It's soul and ego. And putting those two things together is really difficult for the human brain because we're trained, programmed, if you will, to think this or that. So the very first thing in our conversation we need to start having is, well, let's talk about those smaller chunks and then bring them together. Most of us as entrepreneurs have been trained. We see, through our models in the world that most of the business people that are after profits. I will tell you that when you really study people who make extraordinary amounts of money, it's because they focus on the mastery of their business, not the money. Money follows mastery. So that's why we focus on the mastery side of things, because once you really understand your business, you understand its value, and then you understand the value you're bringing to the marketplace. If you don't understand the business mastery, you don't know the details of those things, but you just think you do, then you tell a story about your business mastery, and it isn't even real, and you know it's not real. And because you know it's not real, there's a frequency, an energy that you emote to other people who also feel that. And different people pick up on it on different levels, but you're always emoting this energy or frequency source of, yeah, I think this is the way it is, but I'm not really sure. Mastery takes away that. Mastery is really focused on the absolute certainty through experience that you know what you're talking about. And that creates a different energy, a different frequency, and people feel that. And when you meet someone like that, they take over the room. They're experts at what they do. And that's the beautiful thing about focusing on the mastery of things.
Right. But why, what would you tell to someone who says, what is business mastery without money, David? How is that possible? What would you tell them?
I agree with you that part of the elements of that business mastery is getting to some level of profits or money or things like this. It's about what to focus on. So if you focus on the money, then you're reversing the model we're talking about. We're talking about focusing on the mastery of things to get to money. Now, I'll tell you one of the consequence of doing it the opposite way, if I can, and that is when you focus on money only and you then get there, you've built this money because you're motivated through scarcity. You need it. You got to go get it. You're constantly going after the stuff, but the energy you're motivating yourself with is scarcity, not abundance. And when you get to a place of destiny, of having this money, you've arrived, you still have practiced over and over again scarcity. So when you arrive at that place of having all this money, guess how you feel? You feel like it's not enough because you've been practicing scarcity. But practicing abundance from the very beginning of focusing on mastery, when the money shows up, you're already been in a state of abundance. The money doesn't create that abundance. You have created that abundance. So no matter what happens with the money, you can continue mastery to be able to go and create again if you had to.
Right, right, David. So, in terms of, let's talk about growth, business growth. How do you talk business growth simply by talking mastery and not money? Nowadays, if you look at the scaling of business or the business growth, specifically business growth, then there is this whole thing about valuations. And the better the valuation you get, perceptionally, your business is growing. And people are looking at this word called unicorn. And then you consider that you have attained business mastery, you have attained business success, you have attained perhaps your destiny with lots of money in your bank. How would you like to explain these things to business owners? Is it about destiny again, or is it only about, scaling of business, but in a different way that should not have happened?
So let's unpack that. Two big, huge questions in there, AJ. Beautiful questions. So the very first thing about understanding destiny is that you are going to arrive somewhere. Someday you're going to arrive. You just may not like where you arrived to. And so the idea here is that, we just think if we just work hard and put our head down and we're going to arrive somewhere. And that is true. But again, it may not be where you wanted to end up. So the mastery side of that takes it from a different approach. It doesn't say just put your head down and go to work and work harder than everybody else and do all those things. That's an important element. But let's have a plan before doing all those things so you know where you're going to end up. And that's the difference between most business owners and truly people focused on mastery of their business. They want to know in advance about where they want to end up. And then we design a plan with them to be able to help them get there. And then we measure that through profit and a lot of other financial tools to make sure we're on track to be able to do that. So it creates abundance along the path. The other path where you don't know where you're going to end up, you just think about a number and you say, I don't really have a plan. I'm just working as hard as I can to be able to get that. And I'm going to then sell my business because I'm going to get the evaluations, the profit and loss statement, the balance sheet. I'm just going to get it to a place of someone else purchasing that. That doesn't have the same sense of permanence or sustainability that we're talking about, because when someone comes in to buy businesses that we've helped them with, they see very clearly the action plan that's necessary for them to grow the business. And that's what creates the real value in people selling their business once they've done the coaching work with us.
Right. We'll come to your samurai coaching, success coaching system also. But first, in terms of businesses, people talk about growing, scaling up, and succeeding. What happens if your business fails, does not succeed in the way you wanted it to succeed, or the market wanted it to succeed? It did not. Can you still be, can you still attain business mastery? How does that work?
And that's the beautiful thing about business mastery, is that sometimes timing has a big part of your success in the marketplace. Sometimes you're a little too early to the marketplace with your solution. The marketplace isn't ready for that. And it takes a lot of education to be able to get people up to speed as why they might need your product or services, things like this. And then eventually, though, there are cycles within that timing that then bring you up to speed. So the more prepared you can be for that moment in time, the more you're prepared for that opportunity. And that's what mastery allows you to do, is being prepared for when that timing shows up, because you don't get to control timing. That's the universe. That's the co-creation that we're both working on together. But what you do get to control, and that's where I say focus on with our clients, is what you can do in the meantime. So does that mean that when I work on this mastery that I'm guaranteed to be successful? Absolutely not, AJ. Let's be clear. You can work hard. You can put all this stuff in place. If the marketplace just isn't ready for you, then it's going to be a timing issue, and you've got to be patient. That's why working on you is so important, and having multiple ways that, hey, maybe this business model isn't really the best timing of it right now. Keep that going until it is, and start something else. But then again, if you know business mastery, you know how to structure business, then I can create multiple businesses with the same level of potential opportunity, because the timing then comes in. And that's really why we focus on that mastery of things rather than the money. Because if you're just measuring by money, well, then you're going to be constantly in a place of, this isn't working, this isn't working. And that scarcity we talked about. But if you can stay focused on the metrics of mastery, then you're reaching that mastery every single day, and you know you're on your plan. When the opportunity does show up, you're ready.
Right, right, David. In your case, let us look at it from your perspective. Uh, have you attained business mastery? Because you teach a lot of business leaders. 35 years of coaching you have put into this samurai success coaching system. So let's understand, how do you see mastery or success in your own way? How do you evaluate yourself under those parameters?
So it's interesting. It's like having a vision. You never really reach your vision. It's something to be able to always move toward. Mastery is the same thing for me. Achieving mastery isn't something that I'm after. And so the answer is no, I have not achieved it, but I'm absolutely on its path. And that's the difference between mastery and being a master. So I love taking on a role of being a master student. I love to learn, AJ, and I love to learn about your business, my business, and how it really works together, and how the marketplace works. And then more importantly is not only how this physical plane works, but how spiritual energy actually helps, that divinity energy, if you will, helps out with this whole matrix that we're working within. So discovering those things, finding out how those things works, and sharing those with our clients is really the next level about how to get past the chaos that we're all dealing with and start getting to an upper level of understanding of things, of why the chaos is happening and what I can do about it. So mastery isn't something you want to achieve. It's something you want to be on the path toward that achievement.
And what is your sense of destiny? You have written the book also. Again, we'll come to that book itself, Sorts of Illumination, and you talk about how to get that feeling of a sense of destiny. Have you got that sense of destiny for yourself?
It's interesting because early in my life, man, I heard this: the greatest life you can live is being in service of others. And samurai, loosely translated, means in service of others. So when I heard this, it just brought such joy to my heart, AJ, because I was like, that's it. That's the symbol I was looking for, right? To be able to propel me to where I wanted to go. And that's where I found the power and the passion behind creating your own self identity. And that's what the book is about. It's about understanding that when I was on this path of self discovery, we talked about earlier, is that you're not here to discover who you are, you're here to create who you are. And for me, creating this pathway of being a samurai and truly being in service of others was to answer one question: can you truly become wealthy and reach levels of success, of mastery, by truly being in service of others? And so, AJ, I'm here to tell you that I have been on that path for the last 35 years, and I have reached that part of that destiny and moving forward into the next level and the most advancement of that.
Absolutely. And that is 35 years of wisdom of coaching into the trademark Samurai Success Coaching System, and which provides a proven roadmap for success. So tell us a bit about this. Who is it for? What can all these people who will take it? Is it only for business leaders or for others also?
As long as you're a human being, this system works for you, because this is your technology, just so you know. This is technology we all have as human beings. It doesn't matter our race, it doesn't matter our gender. This is God given. This is something we all have inside of us. The ability to rewrite our story, to rewrite something we call programming. And so I think the real thing we need to focus on is, what is this thing called success, right? And if you sit down with a million different people or more than that, they're all going to have different definitions of success, AJ. So I was fascinated by that because, we're called Samurai Success, right? We have success in our name. We got to understand this thing. So as I really started diving into the elements of success, one thing kept ringing true. If you want to truly have success, no matter how you define it, one element has to exist. It has to be duplicatable. If you cannot duplicate that success, you call it luck. So real success has the ability to duplicate things. That's where business mastery and using the algorithm we talk about is designing systems so that you can take everything out of your head and then transfer it to somebody else and have the same work completed at the same quality control and same profitability as if you were doing the work without you doing the work. And this has been the holy grail for most business owners, because they want to be able to duplicate themselves. AJ, you do not want to duplicate yourself. We don't need more of you. You are perfect the way you are. What we need is to take that information out of your head and transfer that to other people. And that's what this algorithm does for people. It takes that information and then helps you be able to transfer that to other people.
Absolutely. And so let's come to your book, learn from there. You are the best selling author of Swords of Illumination. How many swords you need in your life to illuminate your wisdom and to others?
Well, it's interesting because when you really listen to the masters who have been on this planet for thousands of years, right? When you really listen to them and you really read their information, you start seeing something fascinating. And here's the funny thing. When I was reading through this, I started seeing all these things, and I was like, I was becoming bored, AJ. I was like, no, I'm not going to read this. It's the same stuff over and over again. And I didn't realize that was the message. The message is, this is a repeatable event. They're saying the same things in very different ways. So I wanted to be able to kind of reverse engineering that to say, okay, that's the theme, but what are all the common themes between all the masters that have been on this planet? The people who have been saying these things over and over again for thousands of years. What are the commonalities? And the swords of illumination are my interpretation of those commonalities. And there are 12 swords. In the first book, there are the 6 swords. You actually get introduced to 7 swords, but the 6 swords are really about how to use those swords and actually implement them, apply that information so you can truly change the experience of your life. So AJ, most of the people in our community want to talk about people, and they want to promote this idea of, hey, I'm here to help you or help me change the world. We have a different perspective. I don't believe the world needs changing. What I believe is that the world, my world, needs to change about how the world is. And if I can understand it, if I can change my experience of the world, I'm going to see opportunities that other people don't see. And as business owners and human beings, that's what we're really after. We want to be able to solve problems. But that comes from in here, not changing this out here. Because in Eastern philosophy, as you know much better than I do, sir, is that everything that goes on out here is happening in here. So listen to the masters and start working in here so that everything else changes. I wanted to know the formula. I wanted to know the sequence. And I knew that a loving God would put that here. I just had to find it. And the swords of illumination are our findings on that over the last 35 years.
It's a wonderful name of your book. I love it. Means the way you have put it. But who is this? Who are these swords of illumination for? Is it for the only the good-hearted or not so good-hearted business owners? How do they use these swords of illumination? Is there a way to use it? You also talk about that. It's a book about how to get back that feeling of a sense of destiny.
Yes.
So, do people also lose the sense of destiny? How will it help? And what about those who are trying to find their destiny? For business owners, should this destiny come first or should the business come first? Many a times you have to have that question because a lot of lives also depend on you. Help us understand a bit more about the book from all these perspectives.
So there's so many roles that we play, AJ. I mean, you're a podcaster, right? I'm an executive coach, but I'm also a dad. I'm also a lover. I'm also a friend. I'm also a son. We have all these different roles that we play, right? But when you really condense them down to all the different things we have to play, then you start to understand what the masters have been saying is what makes all of that work is understanding your identity statement, who you say you are, whether that's been created by your friends and your family and the community and society, or you've created it yourself. This identity that you have is what's attracting your destiny. So identity and destiny are correlated. So when you say you're a loser, guess what destiny you're going to create? And when you say you're a winner, guess what destiny? Now, here's the thing. I've just said that out loud to you. I've said it very consciously of you. That doesn't change the universe. It doesn't change the physical plane. It doesn't change other people. What makes that work is my subconscious part of my brain. This is manifesting 95% of the results you're after, also known as destiny or money or wealth or relationships or health, whatever you want to say that you're creating results in. What's creating that is your own self-created identity. So then we've gone to the beginning of the beginnings, because we now know that if we start there, then everything is created from that place. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Of all those years of understanding that, I now know that this is the beginning of the conveyor belt for now, because later on I'm going to discover, or someone else is going to discover, what's before that. We're always discovering the next level. But I will tell you, this is deep within the rabbit hole of really making that change and creating that destiny.
Right, right. You are a wise man, David.
Yes,
You
sir.
put all that wisdom into what you do. So I asked this wise man, how do I know whether I have fulfilled my destiny or is yet to fulfill, especially for a business owner?
So destiny is like vision. It's like this understanding of it's not something you're going to reach, right? It's something you're on the pathway toward. And thank you for this thing about being wise. I will tell you that there are times when I'm very wise and times when I'm really dumb. And I will tell you that can happen.
Only a wise man will realize that he is not so wise at a particular moment. The dumps never do that.
Fair enough. I will tell you that when I am in this wise mode, it's because I've been able to get myself out of the way and I've truly connected to source. That's when I'm at my wisest. And I'm not always there, AJ, right? But the moments that I am there, I capture as much as I can. I share as much as I can when I'm there. And then the really fun part about it is that I've started to realize that when I'm not in that place, I need to shut up. I need to stop talking until I can get back into that sense of wisdom, because you don't need my stuff to help your stuff. Your stuff is your stuff. What you're looking for is solutions to your stuff, not solutions to mine. So if I can get myself out of the way and connect a source, and then you and I can have a conversation about how to be of service to you, we win. If you come to me for a solution and I'm still in my stuff and I'm just then sharing my stuff with you, then we're just contributing to the stuff and the chaos and the mess. So I wanted to find a different way. And that way was very clear. Look at the masters. How did they do it? And that's what I found was profound, was that they were able to truly work on themselves enough to get the hell out of their own way so they can truly be in service of others.
Wonderful. There is much to learn from you about David about all these things, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to learn more from you, all about your wisdom, about your samurai coaching system, and also about the swords of illumination. So, for all those people who would like to take all this help that is possible from you, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
So samuraisuccess.com is our main website. We're also on Instagram, Facebook now. We just started that this year, by the way. We haven't done any social media for the last 26 years, if you can believe it. This is our first year in social media. It's probably why you haven't heard from us. And here's a really good reason why you haven't heard from us. I wanted to make sure this technology actually worked before I brought it to the marketplace. Now, AJ, I'm not going to be on the cover of Forbes magazine anytime soon. I'm not going to be the CEO, the most thoughtful, because it's taken way too long to be able to get to this point. I don't care about any of that stuff. I cared about the results. And I wanted to do that for myself and my staff and the teams and our clients. And I wanted to prove to me that it actually worked. Because once I have that, then we're off to the races. So now coming out of the cave with this technology, which has existed on this planet for a very long time, and sharing that, reminding you of that you have this within you already. It's how to take advantage of it. Because there's an opportunity in the waiting that when you connect to that, your life takes a very different trajectory.
Absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.